Shalom, welcome back to the Midrash Aggadah Parsha series. This week we enter Parashat Beha'alotcha, and the Midrash Aggadah opens the portion with a very human feeling. Aharon has just watched the leaders of the tribes bring their offerings. Each leader has a gift. Each tribe has a moment. Each prince stands before God with something visible, something impressive, something that can be counted, weighed, and remembered. And then Aharon looks at himself and says, in his heart, "What about me? What is my offering? Where is my share?" And God answers him through the command of the menorah. When you raise up the lamps, the 7 lamps must shine toward the face of the menorah. That is already the first deep teaching. Sometimes your service does not look like everybody else's service. Some people bring public gifts. Some people have loud moments. Some people are seen by everyone. But Aharon's service is different. He does not just bring something once. He lights again and again. He raises the flame every day. The Midrash is showing us that daily faithfulness can be higher than one dramatic moment. Aharon is not rejected. He is being placed into a quieter, more constant kind of honor. His greatness is not that he gives one offering and walks away. His greatness is that he helps the light rise. And that phrase matters. When you raise up the lamps, the Torah does not simply say, when you light the lamps. It says, when you raise them. Because a true teacher, a true priest, a true servant of God does not only ignite people for a moment. He raises them until their own flame can stand. That is the first message of Beha'alotcha. The work is not to make people depend on your fire. The work is to help them discover the fire that God already placed inside them. Then the Torah describes the menorah itself. It is made of hammered gold from its base to its flowers. And the Midrash Aggadah brings the old teaching that this menorah was difficult. It was not simple. Moshe saw the pattern, but the making of it was beyond ordinary human ability. So, the Holy One, blessed be He, caused it to be made. That detail is powerful. The vessel of light is hammered. The vessel of light is formed through pressure. But the final shape is still from God. That means your pressure is not meaningless. The hammering is not proof that you are abandoned. Sometimes the soul is being shaped into a vessel that can carry a purer light. But at the same time, you are not asked to manufacture the holy form alone. You do your part. God completes what only God can complete. After the menorah, the Torah moves to the Levites. They are purified, brought near, waved as a living offering, and given to serve in the Mishkan. The Midrash Aggadah connects this to the replacement of the firstborn. The firstborn were originally set apart, but after the sin of the golden calf, the Levites stood with Moshe, and their service became the service of closeness. So, Beha'alotcha teaches something very real. Holiness is not only about where you started. It is about how you respond when everything is tested. The Levites are not chosen because life is easy for them. They are chosen because in a confused moment, they stand on the side of God. Their identity becomes service. Their honor becomes carrying, guarding, singing, and helping the holy space move through the wilderness. This is the heart of the portion. Light must travel. Holiness must travel. The Mishkan is not a statue. It is a moving sanctuary. And the people of Israel are learning how to carry holiness while walking through uncertainty. Then we reach Pesach Sheni, the second Passover. Some men are impure through contact with death, and they cannot bring the Passover offering at the proper time. They come to Moshe and Aharon and say, "Why should we be diminished? Why should we lose our portion just because we are unable right now?" That cry is one of the most beautiful cries in the Torah. They are not asking to escape responsibility. They are asking for another doorway into closeness. The Midrash Aggadah sees their request as precious because it comes from longing. They could have said, "We are exempt, so we are free." Instead, they say, "We are exempt, but we still want to come near." And because of that longing, a new commandment is revealed. Pesach Sheni is born from people who refuse to let distance become final. This is a healing teaching. Sometimes a person misses the first moment. Sometimes the first opportunity passes. Sometimes impurity, grief, failure, confusion, or life circumstances block the way. But in the world of God, a missed first chance does not mean the soul is finished. There is such a thing as a second opening. There is such a thing as returning with desire. There is such a thing as saying, I was not ready then, but I am ready now. After this, the Torah describes the cloud over the Mishkan. When the cloud rests, Israel rests. When the cloud rises, Israel journeys. Sometimes it rests for days, sometimes for a month, sometimes for only one night. The people do not move by mood, panic, or ambition. They move by the mouth of God. This is not an easy life. Imagine setting up camp and then the cloud rises the next morning. Imagine getting comfortable and then being told to move. Imagine wanting movement and then the cloud stays still. The wilderness trains the soul not only in movement but in timing. Many people want God to bless their direction, but Beha'alotcha asks something deeper. Can we surrender to God's timing? Can we stop when the cloud stops? Can we move when the cloud moves? Can we trust that delay is not always punishment and motion is not always progress? Then come the silver trumpets. They gather the people, signal the leaders, announce the journeys, and cry out in times of trouble. The trumpets teach that a holy community needs clear sound, not noise, but signal, not confusion, but direction. This matters because the wilderness is not only external, there is also an inner wilderness. There are seasons where the heart feels scattered, where the mind hears too many voices, where the soul does not know whether to rest, move, fight, or rejoice. The trumpet is the sound of alignment. It says, come together. Remember who you are. Move as one people under God. Then the Torah gives the famous words said when the ark would travel. Arise, O Lord, and let your enemies be scattered. And when it rested, return, O Lord, to the myriads of Israel. Even before the people fully understand their own journey, the ark leads them. The presence of God goes before them. This is the mercy hidden inside the wilderness. Israel is walking, but they are not walking alone. And then suddenly, the atmosphere changes. The people complain. The fire of God burns at the edge of the camp. Then the mixed multitude begins craving, and Israel weeps, saying, who will feed us meat? They remember the fish, cucumbers, melons, leeks, onions, and garlic of Egypt. This is one of the strangest spiritual collapses. They are eating manna from heaven, and still they dream of Egypt. The Midrash Aggadah helps us hear the deeper sickness. The issue is not just food. The issue is desire without memory, appetite without gratitude, nostalgia without truth. Egypt was not a restaurant. Egypt was slavery. But when desire becomes corrupted, the past gets edited. The pain is erased. The bondage is softened. The soul starts saying, maybe Egypt was not so bad. That is how regression begins, not always with rebellion. Sometimes it begins with sentimental hunger for the very place God delivered you from. The manna exposes the heart. To the grateful, it is bread from heaven. To the complaining, it becomes boring. The same gift can feel like a miracle or a burden depending on the state of the soul. Moshe then reaches his limit. He says to God, "Why have you placed the burden of these people on me? Did I conceive them? Did I give birth to them? I cannot carry them alone." This is a sacred moment because even Moshe, the faithful shepherd, reaches a breaking point. The Torah does not hide it. The Midrash Aggadah does not turn Moshe into a machine. Leadership has weight. Carrying people has weight. Being responsible for complaints, hunger, fear, and immaturity has weight. And God's answer is not try harder. God's answer is gather 70 elders. That is a profound teaching. Sometimes the holy answer is shared burden. Sometimes the next level of leadership is not more control, but more distribution. Moshe remains Moshe, but the spirit placed upon him is shared with others, so the people can be carried with greater strength. Then Eldad and Medad prophecy in the camp. Yehoshua wants Moshe to restrain them. But Moshe answers, "Are you jealous for my sake?" Would that all God's people were prophets, if God would place His Spirit upon them. This is the humility of true greatness. False leadership is threatened when others receive Spirit. True leadership rejoices when the light spreads. Moshe does not need to be the only flame. He wants the whole people to burn with holy awareness. Then comes the quail, and with it, judgment. The craving is answered, but the craving also exposes the people. Sometimes God gives a person what they demand, not because it is good, but because the demand itself must reveal its emptiness. Desire can be a teacher. It can show us what we truly worship. If the soul is ruled by appetite, even abundance will not satisfy it. It will only make the hunger louder. Finally, the portion ends with Miriam and Aharon speaking about Moshe. They question him, and God defends him. Moshe is described as exceedingly humble, more than any person on the face of the earth. Miriam is struck, and Moshe immediately prays for her healing. Please, God, heal her now. This ending is very important. Moshe is attacked, but he does not attack back. He is defended by God, but he does not enjoy her downfall. His greatness is not only prophecy. His greatness is humility joined with compassion. And the people wait for Miriam until she returns. That too is mercy. The camp does not simply move on as if a wounded person does not matter. The journey pauses for restoration. So, Beha'alotcha gives us a complete spiritual map. Raise the light. Let pressure shape the vessel. Serve faithfully. Do not miss the second opening. Follow the cloud. Listen for the trumpet. Let the ark lead. Guard the heart from craving Egypt. Share the burden. Rejoice when spirit spreads. Stay humble when misunderstood. Pray for healing even when wounded. This is why the portion is so alive. It begins with light, but it does not stay in a perfect sanctuary scene. The light has to enter the camp. The light has to enter leadership. The light has to enter hunger, complaint, exhaustion, jealousy, and delay. That is real holiness, not holiness that only shines in a quiet room, but holiness that keeps shining while the people are moving through the wilderness. And maybe that is the message for us this week. Do not despise the wilderness you are walking through. The wilderness reveals what is inside you, but it also trains the flame inside you. If you miss the first chance, ask for the second opening. If you are tired from carrying too much, let the burden be shared. If desire pulls you backward, remember the truth of what God delivered you from. If someone misunderstands you, stay humble and pray clean. And this is why Midrash Aggadah is so practical here. It does not let us keep the Torah as an old desert story. It brings it into the inner life. A lamp is a soul. A journey is a season. A cloud is divine timing. A trumpet is a clear call. Manna is daily trust. Complaint is spiritual forgetfulness. Miriam's waiting is communal compassion. Moshe's prayer is clean-hearted leadership. So, when we read Beha'alotcha, we are not just reading about them. We are being asked, what kind of flame am I becoming? And can my light keep rising while God leads me onward with steadiness and faith? And above all, raise the light. Not once, not only when it is easy, not only when people notice. Raise it every day until the flame stands by itself and until your life becomes a moving sanctuary for the presence of God. Shalom.